Hey guys, welcome back again to Rebuild Reality. I am your host, Sky Cheyenne, and today we are talking about something that affects absolutely everybody, which is exactly why I wanted to talk about it. And this is originally was a response from someone who had just left a comment on the video before last, where they and I were having this conversation, and they asked another question, and I started to respond to it, and I realized this response is going to be way longer than any response, any comment should ever be. But I can't explain it properly unless I really get into it. But because this affects basically everybody, deeply, I wanted to go ahead and address it here today. So we're talking about the mind, right? That is obviously a big subject. But your mind was made to solve problems. Your 3D mind was made to solve problems. That's its occupation. Problem solver. At least that's what it thinks. It thinks that if we look at the problem and keep thinking about all the problems, that's going to make them go away. That we'll figure it out and then we're going to get rid of them. And then you can be happy. But how is that going? I think most of you will agree it's going pretty freaking bad. That doesn't really work because your mind will constantly, always find new problems. Maybe you'll get a little bit of a break, maybe even a couple of days, maybe a week, until your mind finds another problem for you to overcome. Because your mind is all based on time. It's all based on the journey. And it wants the journey of solving things, of fixing things. But its way of doing it doesn't work. Because, like I always say, you can't look at a problem and make it go away. Because you're still focused on it. You are still looking at it. And when we have a problem, which is like negative looking that way, right? So the mind thinks, has a thought, and you either accept the thought or you don't. And the thing is that most people just automatically accept it as absolute gospel, whatever the mind says. Oh, that must be true because it's my mind. Well, it's just part of this program. That's all it is. When it says something, that's a suggestion. You can either accept it if you think it's going to be helpful to you, or you can reject it. And most of the time, I would suggest rejecting things that the mind says unless they are based on something that is loving and kind towards you. Because you'll notice that your mind is not very loving and kind towards you. It is not your best friend. It doesn't have your back. Not in the state that it's in. Because as the saying goes, your mind is a great servant, but a terrible master. And right now, it is mastering almost everybody. Everybody, because they believe it's me. I believe that my mind is me. Completely turns over all their power to it. Never thinking for a moment, wait, maybe I should think about if I want to agree with my mind or not. Maybe I should think about what that just said and not just automatically be like, oh yeah, you're right. I do have problems with my blood pressure, or I do, it's happened before that a relationship didn't turn out, so maybe you're right. Maybe this one, I better watch out as well. Well, that's just creating it. Because all of this really kind of comes down to the principle that you don't believe in the law. You do not believe that your imagination creates reality. So you think that you can think about problems. You think that you can let all that drag you down You think that you can keep up with that addiction, because that's what it is. Negative thoughts are an addiction that you have the choice to keep going with or to finally pull yourself away from. So this is where the rubber meets the road. Because if you believed that your thoughts create your reality, you would not be entertaining those thoughts that your mind is giving you. You would be like, no, you got the wrong person, man. That is not me. So this comes down to really not believing in the law at all, which is what the world of conscious manifestation is all about. So if you haven't accepted that your thoughts create reality, that your imagination creates reality, then you're not accepting the reality of this entire way of thinking, because you're either going to stay in the 3D thing, or you're going to take on board that your imagination, your thoughts create your reality. So if you're thinking badly about something, if you're thinking and you're worried that there's going to be a bad outcome about something that's probably going to happen, well, if your imagination creates reality, what are you doing? Why would you do that to yourself? Maybe you need to ask yourself why you would want to do that to yourself. So, as you can see, it's an issue, right? It's an issue that people need to finally face. If you want to be in the world of conscious manifestation and you want this to work for you, then you have to finally accept that your imagination creates reality. The things you're thinking about, that the things that you are choosing to focus on, are what is writing the script for the movie you are currently in. Therefore, you're either going to finally take control of it, or you're going to choose not to, because it is a choice. At the end of the day, it's a choice. And anyone who's ever gotten there, anyone who has ever, like, I don't care if they were spiritual masters, gurus from thousands of years ago, or Joe Schmo from yesterday, that finally got it. Everyone, it comes down to that choice. You're either going to choose to believe that your imagination creates reality, or you're going to continue to choose to exist in the world of 3D, in the world where your mind is ruler over you and you're just its servant, being dragged along on the road behind it. And if that's the role that you want to play in your life, well, obviously nobody can stop you. But also, nobody can save you from doing that. No one can come in, because this is what people want. That's why people play this role of, oh, my life is going, to hell, and these things are going to happen, when you could just as easily think about all kinds of good things, or good things that have happened to you, or good, times when things have worked out for you, instead of putting all of your focus on worrying about things not turning out for you, full well knowing that your imagination creates reality. So, if you truly want to finally get it, and you want this to work for you, which I imagine this is why you watch videos like this in the first place, why you've gotten into this, you're either going to make the switch or you're not. Because like I said, no one can come in and do it for you. You're either going to be the slave to your mind, or you're going to choose to say what goes. Now, I'm not saying to go to war with your mind, but just that when you have a thought, you can either accept it as being true for you or not. You can either say, oh, that's about me, or you can say, oh, that's not about me. That's not mine. Because they're just thoughts. They're just thoughts pouring in, as they do. We don't have to claim them. And the thing that's kind of funny about all of this is that we really want to see ourselves as a victim because the mind wants to think of itself as a victim. And by doing so, it thinks that someone's going to be able to come in and save it and rescue it. But no one can come into your mind and change how you think. Only you can. Only you have control, have power over what goes on there. And the thing that's interesting is that everybody wants to be able to do this manifestation stuff. Like everyone's like, I want to be able to consciously manifest my reality. I want to have divine powers. But no one wants to accept that they are divine. How can you have divine powers unless you accept that you are divine, that you are the one, that you are the I am? So if you're going to continue to see yourself as a victim, and that will be unpleasant, then of course it's going to lead to negative feelings, negative emotions, negative events in your life. But now that you know that, you understand that you can stop doing that if you want to. But that is up to you. And nobody can change that. And the only reason that some people are doing better than others, some people are getting their manifestations and some people aren't, some people's lives are turning out better, is because they are choosing to look at the positive, to, fan the flames of the positive side instead of constantly fanning the flames of the negative side, knowing that your mind, well, if we just let it run right over us, well, then we're going to let it drag us behind it and leave parts of us all over the road behind us. So, you're either going to let it drive your life, or you're going to get in that car. You're going to slide into the driver's seat. You're going to put the seatbelt on, put your hands on the wheel, and you are going to freaking drive. And you are going to be the ruler of your reality. And you are going to be the one who gets to choose instead of continuing to accept negative possibilities, negative outcomes, negative chatter all the time. Because that's not the kind of life you should be living. And I hope, honestly, that it's not the life that you choose for you. So, time to step up. It's a big step, but it's one that if we want to be the rulers of our reality, if we want to finally be in alignment with our true identity, we have to finally let go of the negative. We have to finally not continue to accept all the things that mind says. So I hope that that helps some of you guys out there. I think that these things are definitely, this is things that everyone has to go through. Everyone has to get to that point where they make the choice. So I hope that you will choose the best life ever. Exactly how it should be. So thank you for being with me here on Rebuild Reality. Thanks for being a part of this channel. I just want you guys to know how much I really appreciate you guys being here. The thing about doing these things is that when someone asks a question, when something comes up, it causes me to expand. It causes me to, because I'm asking another question, I get more information. I get another answer. And anyone who really knows that well, I guess you could, teacher, anyone who's talking about these things is learning just as much from their students, from the people that they're interacting with, than they do on their own journey. So all of these things are kind of an accumulation, and they all just put us in a place where we're headed in the most pleasant direction possible. So thank you guys for being with me here on Rebuild Reality. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Thank you for liking and commenting and wanting to be a part of this. You guys are valued. So, which is exactly why I look forward to seeing you here next time on Rebuild Reality.